Hello, it's Sebastian. Welcome to my channel. Purpose of this video is to review my Cambrian Way walk. What went well, what went wrong, what should I change next time, and maybe I'll give some piece of advice for anybody who attempt to walk this fantastic trail. Maybe before I start, I mentioned that I attempted to walk the whole Cambrian Way, but ended up doing just southern part. I'll explain why and tell you what I would change before attempting it second time, because there will be second time. You have to remember to go as light as possible. It's a mountain walk, so you have to remember that this is constant roller coaster. There are ups and downs constantly, every single day, several times a day, so it is challenging. Remember that. You may be tempted to plan your stages based on mileage, but please pay attention to elevation change, because this is something what you will feel the most. This is the challenge. You have to also remember that the path leads through the quite remote places in Wales. That means that you will not meet many people on the trail. So if you can walk in company, that would help, because for sure you will have some tough moments and you will need some moral support. Very important thing is to be in shape before attempting the trail. The Cambrian Way is not a joke, really. Train before you start. Check your gear. Be in shape in general, because there will be no mercy there. It's important to plan your resupply. Not in every village you can buy food. It's good to get in touch with some hostels, campsites, and send packages to have something to eat. The more the better, because you will carry less between the stages. I planned to walk 3 weeks and I sent 2 packages. It required some email correspondence before I started, but in general people are very helpful and eager to help, so it's good to make this effort. As it's stated in the book I used, it's important that Cambrian Way shouldn't be your first long distance walk, because the challenges you encounter will be bigger than on any other British walk. Said that, as on any long distance walk, you have to be prepared for pain. Your feet and leg muscles will hurt, as on any other long distance trail. Additionally, because it's a mountain walk, you need to be ready for exposure. So if you're lucky, you will have good weather, and of course you have to be prepared for sun, so sun cream is a must. I didn't have it. I had just one sunny day and I had sunburn. While walking, use every opportunity to eat in towns and villages. Not only you supporting local community, but also it will help you to carry less. If you, just like me, prefer to wild camp, take a light tent. But remember that weight is not everything, and your tent must be strong enough to resist the rain and heavy wind. As I said, it's a mountain walk, so you'll be walking on a certain elevation, and you may find yourself in the situations just like me, that you were forced to camp on 650 meters during the rain and wind. So it's important that your tent should resist those elements and protect you. Of course, if you have no luck and the days are rainy, you will be carrying wet stuff. Wet stuff means heavier stuff. Be prepared for that. And I'm not talking only about weight, but also about protection, your dry stuff against this moisture, water you'll be experiencing on the trail. Remember to have dry sacks or or any other form of protection of your dry stuff, especially clothes, night clothes, and anything else what should remain dry. I mentioned to go light. So, of course, don't take stuff you don't need. And I'm not talking only about the stuff you pack in your backpack, but also don't go with heavy mind. If you have any unsolved issues, it may be difficult to walk the way carrying this burden. I'll tell about that more later, because this is something what happened to me. Almost in every long distance guide you will find advice regarding good footwear. Some recommend boots. I walked in running shoes and they performed very well. I wouldn't replace them with anything else. If you don't want to camp and you're planning to stay in hostels or hotels, don't rely on last-minute bookings, especially in hostels. I tried to do it and I failed every time. I walked in June and it's a very busy season already. I did not manage to book hostel 3 days before the date because they were busy. So again, if you're planning to stay in youth hostels, you have to book in advance. The downside of that is that you have to stick to your schedule and walk exactly as you plan. I would like to say a few words explaining why I decided to end my walk earlier than planned. This is note to myself to remember about this aspect before any other long distance walk I will try later. But I thought that it may be useful also for anybody else, so stick around. Before I started this walk, I thought that it would be a good idea to dedicate it to my parents. A few months ago I lost my father, a few years ago my mother. So as you can imagine, it's a terrible and traumatic experience. It's very difficult to go back to your normal life after that. And to be honest, I'm still learning to live with that. And it's not an easy process. So I want to dedicate this walk to my parents, but also, and I also wanted to create kind of catalog of video memories of my parents, mainly for my daughters. So for a few first days I was trying to recreate in memory some our conversations, some things we've done together. You know, in general, things I remember about them. And I wanted to tell about that in the video. It started quite well. I had a collection of memories, but while I was walking and getting tired, it started to play on my emotions. I found myself on kind of spiral, going down emotionally very quickly. I reached the point that really I couldn't think about anything else. I have to tell that thought about my parents during this walk was so emotionally overwhelming that it became unbearable. So if you noticed, I said something about not enjoying the trail in my last video. So that was one of the reasons. So it's not only weather, but it's mainly this emotional state I found myself in. So I thought that I have to deal with this, sort it out, and then go back to the trail to fully enjoy it. By any means, I don't consider quitting the trail as a failure. Just this stage of my life wasn't the best time for undertaking this trail. So when I'm talking that you shouldn't take too much baggage, it also relates to emotional baggage. Go with your clear head. Then you will be able to fill it with all this positive energy and fantastic experience from the trail, because this is beautiful land and really can elevate you spiritually if you only have open mind. I didn't have. I was closed, focused on one serious issue, and that's why I decided to leave the trail. Now I would like to say a few words about what went well on the trail. First of all, I'm very pleased with my backpack. This is 48 Osprey XS. Not the lightest and not the most trendy from American cottage companies. It's Osprey is well-known brand, but this backpack is so comfy. Really, I didn't notice that I carry anything, so I will go with it anywhere. Second thing is my quilt. I thought that quilt would be better in summer, and I think I was right, because I was very pleased with that. I had enlightened equipment, quilt, synthetic, because I was afraid of the rain, and I was right also with that. Very good choice. I will take it also next time. I mentioned shoes. I went with Ultra Lone Peak 4, and I also had let me find it. I also had stocks I'm using for some time, and they are in gingy with toes. I love them because since I started using them, I had no single blister. So I'm using just liners. I'm not using hiking socks, so I've got liners and shoes, that's it. And in this combo I have no blisters. Another interesting thing is my rain gear. Of course I had a standard jacket, but I didn't take over trousers, so rain pants. What I take with me is if I find it, it's this. Pretty small, very light, and this is rainproof kilt. Living in Scotland, I couldn't go differently. I like kilt because it protects me from the side rain, but also leaves the ventilation. So I hate waterproof pants because I'm just boiling inside. I'm wet anywhere, not from the rain, but from my sweat. So using kilt, I have no such issues. I love it. I recommend it. Another thing which I love and I'm using another season is something very simple: walking poles. I ditched fancy carbon poles because they are just too soft for me. I broke several of them. I'm using strong aluminum poles by Black Diamond. I don't remember the name of the poles, but they are very durable, and well, I have to have good poles because my tent is relying on them. I'm using poles as a part of the structure of the tent, so it's very important to have them, you know, heavy duty. And also, no, I'm not the lightest guy, and they have to strong enough to hold against my weight. Last thing I would like to mention that went well is selection of my cooking system, and so my cooking system is based on upkeep stuff mostly, so that's all I have. So I have cheap Chinese base for the gas, and then I have 650 millimeter spot. That's enough for me. Aluminum foil, which is my windshield. Lighter, very small Alp kit, made stove. So that's this tiny thing. Very good. I can't complain. I'm using it second season, no issues. So inside that I've got cap made from the bottle, and I've got gas. So everything fits into this 650 millimeters Alpkit titanium pot, and that's my system. I'm very pleased with that. 650 millimeters, it's enough to boil water for my meal plus hot drink. I don't need anything more. So that's the list of the things I'm most pleased with. What I would change next time? Let's start with a tent. 6 Moon Skyscape Tracker. I would change it not because something's wrong with the tent. It's great. I love it. But I experienced bad weather almost all the time. It was raining every single night. And what I discovered is that I need more space in a porch. So that's why next time I would go with also 6 Moon designs, but lunar solo. It proved last year, because I was working with this during my coast to coast way. Of course, it's much more spacious and will be better on such a long hike. The difference in weight is minimal. I could ignore it. The reason I took this tent and not this one, although I prefer this one, is basically color. I thought that while camping in Wales, I have to be more stealth. It's not the case actually, and I can ignore this aspect next time. Another thing I will change next time is taking mineral tablets. You know, the tablets you can buy in any outdoor shop or even Tesco or any other supermarket. So basically I noticed how much better I coped with regeneration of my muscles when I use the tablets. Really, maybe it's placebo, I don't know, but it worked for me, and next time I will take the tablets with minerals. So, how I prepared to the Cambrian Way. First of all, I searched the internet and I discovered 2 sources I used. First is a blog of backpack artist. Fantastic blog, really good. I highly recommend it. I'll put the link in the description. Another source of information, but mainly inspiration, was a YouTube channel by Richard, called Four Season Backpacking. I'll put the link in the description. So Richard walked north section of the Cambrian Way. It will give you a good overview what you can expect in this section of the Cambrian Way. The richest in information website regarding Cambrian Way is official website. When you are getting ready to walk this trail, you can't ignore this website. I'll also put the link in the description as usual. I have to say that not only information is important when you're preparing for the Cambrian Way, it's also moral support and encouragement. And I experienced it from Welsh ramblers, and I'm really grateful for that. So that's internet, but you can also try to buy something like that. Cambrian Way, the Mountain Connoisseur's Walk. Written by A.J. Drake. Very helpful book. I walked by this book every single day, and every day I marked by just bending the corner of the book. So half of it has this bended pages. Central section still waiting, so I highly recommend it. You've got all informations you need here. So, well, I recommend very good book, and it's just $7.50, so almost nothing. But today is 13th of July, and I believe in 2 days there's official premiere of the Cambrian Way Cicerone book. I just got it today, and I have to tell you, it's a piece of art. It's a fantastic book, and I regret that I didn't have it, because I couldn't. But you've got ice maps here, fantastic photos, and most important, you've got elevation profile of every stage. You can be really well prepared before each stage, and description is fantastic. Really, I have no words. It's such a good book. You've got contact information to all hostels and campsites. Everything you may need. It's absolute must for anybody wanting to walk this way. Yeah. All right. So that's all I had prepared for today. I hope this summary gives you some additional information I could miss in my 4 previous videos, and I hope it will help you to prepare better and do better than I did. What are my plans regarding the Cambrian Way? Of course, I plan to go back. Not this year. I'm planning this for next year. I will not redo the way I already walked, although I regret that I haven't seen Black Mountains. I plan to finish the walk in 2 weeks, and I really hope I will have more luck with the weather. Alright, that's it from me. See you on the trail, maybe Cambrian Way.